Good morning, friends. I hope you are all doing super duper well. Welcome from my bathroom. I know this is really random to start a video here, but today I thought I would take you through some of the essentials that I feel you need to start a semester on a good foot. So this can be if you are starting university for the first time, going back to university, or just kind of going back to school in a different way. Starting a new job, starting a new project, just re-looking at going back to something that you are working on. So I am randomly starting this from my bathroom as I get ready for the day, because I think it's important to highlight that one of the things I want to talk about is healthy habits. And for me, I have sort of like a checklist of things that if I hit them throughout the day, I feel like I have hit my healthy habit checklist. And the first thing on that is doing my skincare in the morning and in the evening, which I can be really, really lazy about. We are going to kick off today with first healthy habit, which is doing my skincare. I don't think anyone looks good spraying facial mist. I always just look like I'm being attacked. I suppose in some ways I am being attacked. I also just want to say a huge, massive, massive thank you to everyone who commented and supported my video, that I posted last week, showing your absolute love and support for that. It means so much to me to have you all supporting me and the community of returning to academic study. It really does mean so much to me. Okay, that's it. Quick, easy, done. Let's put some makeup on, let's get dressed. Let's get into the meat of this video. Just gotta tame the mop here. I don't know about you all, but I am so happy it's getting colder. I'm such a knitwear person. I never feel like I have enough jumpers or sweatshirts or cardigans, and I probably have far too many. Can you have too much knitwear? I'm not sure. I feel like knitwear is an essential purchase. So I'm just going to refreshen this hair a bit. Done. Wonderful. Let's do some makeup. Does anyone feel like putting on makeup these days is like doing some war paint? Like you're about to go into battle. Right. I know I'm so late to the trend here, but I've only just started using an eyelash curler, and I can't believe that I've gone my entire life basically without using an eyelash curler. I do not like wearing mascara generally. It just kind of annoys me. I'm not a big makeup person, but that's me. That's done. Okay, let's pack all stuff away. Sat at the desk now. I have a couple of thoughts about what I want to talk about in terms of like my absolute study essentials / preparing for the upcoming semester. So I spoke about formulating healthy habits, and what I have started doing, particularly with this, is trying to tick off a couple of healthy habit checklists that I have in my head that I just like to hit every single day. And if I don't check those things off every single day, that's absolutely fine. But I do like to have these kind of things just in the back of my mind. I don't use a habit tracker. I don't do anything like that. I just, as I mentioned, doing my skincare routine in the morning and in the evening is a great way to kind of bookend the day in terms of developing a healthy habit to wake up and wind down at the end of the day. It's really luxurious for me to do my skincare routine. I love being able to, at the end of the day, wash my face and feel like I'm just washing the day away, and it's really quite soothing and relaxing for me. I've also started doing these facial massages that just really sort of relax and de-tense, or whatever the word is, but relax all these muscles that I tend to strain during the day when I'm like grinding my teeth or really focused on a piece of work or something to that effect. So I really feel like that is so helpful and so relaxing for me at the end of the day. The next healthy habit that I have tried to get into is starting the morning off with a good breakfast or a good healthy meal. This looks different for me every single day. I can't have the same thing every single day, but one thing I do absolutely love is to make a smoothie first thing in the morning, and it just kind of helps me to, it doesn't make me overfull that I feel ill when I eat first thing in the morning, but it's also just a really nice way for me to get my greens in and to get my healthy magic mind shot in. So I have started to take these magic mind shots in the morning, and so far I feel like they've really helped with my energy levels. I have felt like the inclusion of the vitamins that they have in there helps me to just keep on top of my own health as well as decompress. They've got vitamin D in the shot, which I know helps to sort of reduce that stress and anxiety that I feel juggling multiple things all the time. One of the next healthy habits that I like to keep in the back of my mind is getting out of the house, going for a walk with the dogs, or doing some form of exercise throughout the day. I can get really focused in and bogged down at my desk, whether it be for Google work, for accepted, or for my master's studies, and I spend a lot of time at my desk. And it's great because I have, you know, the window and the beautiful Irish countryside view next to me, but stepping away for half an hour to an hour to go and do something like walk around, take the dogs for a walk, just step out of my environment, means that I get that necessary break that I need to just reset my mind and come back in with a different perspective, or maybe let some ideas percolate that I haven't let percolate yet. And I find it really great to be able to take a pause on looking at a screen, and it's so easy to get bogged down in the details of things without like taking that step back. My final habit, or my final healthy habit that I am trying to integrate into my daily routine is my own technology detox. With work, my business, with content, all that kind of thing, I feel myself being stuck to my phone a lot of the time, and I feel that I really need to disengage myself from social media, from checking emails, from checking messages, and really put that boundary in place for me more than for anything else. And so I haven't always, this is probably the habit that I'm the worst at. And I would love to be able to switch my phone or turn my phone away for the hour before I go to sleep so that I can sort of rest and relax and not go down the scrolling rabbit hole or the rabbit hole of wondering, oh, why is my content not doing well, which just spirals into a sense of anxiety for me. And so I really need to start implementing this a lot more, but I think it's a really good habit to have and something that I'm really going to take into account as I start this next stage, semester, role of my life. So those were sort of my daily habits that I want to try and incorporate into my routine. The next thing that I want to talk about is stationery. So I will forever be a written planner, written notebook type of person. You need to find the system that works for you, but I wanted to highlight my 4 stationery basics that I use every single day. So the first thing that I use every single day is my commonplace book, or what I like to call my commonplace book. If you guys don't know what a commonplace book is, a commonplace book was a way to compile knowledge and usually by writing information into a book. So essentially an all-purpose notebook. They have been around since antiquity. They are very common with some of the more famous artists and thinkers of the time, and I have always had a commonplace book where I end up writing notes, ideas, quotes, things like that. This commonplace notebook is from Paper Republic. It's got my initials here, which I absolutely love. And it's also a refillable notebook, which I really, really love. So you can take these, once you've filled up these books here, you can take them out and then refill them. And you can keep them all in one lovely little book. So this goes everywhere with me. It's always in my bag. It has my to-do lists, my notes of things that I need to remember. It's got thoughts, ideas, structures for new projects that we are looking into for accepted. And I never go anywhere without this notebook. This is absolutely essential to me. And the reason it's essential to me is that I often have random ideas when I am out and about. And yes, I could use the Notes app on my phone to write that out, but there's something about writing something out that just reinforces it in my mind. So I like to have my notebook around. And what I want to talk about next is the idea that when I think of an academic idea or a research idea, I then pull that into my Notions second brain, which I'll talk about in a second, and which you guys have been asking a lot of questions about. So I'll talk about that in a bit. The next book or journal or planner that I always go around with is my planner. So having a Google Calendar, having an accepted calendar, having a personal calendar, and everything else in between, I find that having a physical planner where I can collate all of my calendars together in one is really, really useful. The thing that I like about this planner in particular, this is the Golden Coil planner, is that you can design it in the way that you want to design it. So for example, for me, I always have the week view with the hours so that I can see what my week is looking like and how I can time block for particular tasks. I also have in this the monthly views, which are helpful, and the social media ideas page, which is really, really great. And then I have at the beginning and the end, I think, at the beginning, which I haven't actually filled out, shocking, but I have this reading list, these reading list pages, which I use when I do my wrap-ups. So I have found this planner to be really, really helpful. I am not sure whether I'll continue using this planner next year. This is obviously a yearly planner. I'm not sure whether I'll continue using this planner next year. I really have enjoyed using them for the last 2 years. They've been absolutely foundational to me figuring out my days. But from next year, I have a feeling that my schedule is going to look very, very different than what it does this year. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up another planner like that. I might just stick with my commonplace book, but we'll see. So apologies about the break. It's actually the next day. I just had to look after my pup who is not well, but I'm back and I am still talking about stationery. So the next 2 books that I want to talk about, or the next 2 stationery pieces that I want to talk about, are my journals. So I have this journal and I have my 5-minute journal. Both of these I use almost every single day. The 5-minute journal is really, really nice just to check in the mornings and in the evenings, and it's just prompts that you reflect on, and I find it really, really helpful. I got this as a gift and I've been using it, as I say, most days. Would I repurchase this when I'm done with it? Probably not. I do find the prompts really, really helpful, but they are the same every single day, so the prompts don't change, and I think it would be nice to actually explore different prompts every single day. So I think that while these 5-minute journals are really fantastic for getting into writing every single day, that I'm not sure I would repurchase this particular 5-minute journal in the future once this is done. But this is my own personal journal and the one that I use to reflect on my thoughts, my ideas. It's kind of like a bigger commonplace book where I talk through with myself basically any of the struggles that I'm facing or how I'm feeling or trying to navigate my thoughts. I would highly recommend having a journal, some form of a journal that you keep, especially as you work through ideas, as you work through struggles, as you work through conflicts, or just as a place to kind of brain dump your thoughts. I think writing a journal is also really important as a student, to write something every single day. It doesn't have to be academic, but harnessing just sitting down and writing, even if it is for a couple of minutes every single day, is so, so helpful. So you're enhancing that skill of writing consistently. So I find that this journal is really, really fantastic. I can't remember where I got this from, but I really like that it's a big journal. It's got those floppy sort of pages and I just love it. So then the final thing that I want to talk about is something that I've kind of mentioned on my channel before, which is my second brain. Now, when I spoke about this in the past, a lot of you commented that you would like to see how I do my second brain. And I am happy to show you how I pulled that together. The inspiration for a second brain was based off a video that I watched on YouTube. The second brain sort of methodology was coined by Tiago Forte, and I have really, really liked having a second brain on my Notion just to be able to collect academic thoughts. And I'm going to show you, I've got two versions of this, and I'll show you how I utilize the two versions of it and why I've started utilizing the one more than the other, especially since I actually have a written version of the Commonplace book. The second brain is about optimizing a system of collecting information outside of your own brain, right? So the logic behind it is that we read and consume information all the time, and that we cannot possibly store everything that we read and consume, and that's what the second brain is for. The idea behind it is that you would constantly consume and fill your second brain with information. The way that I have set it up on my Notion is the way that they mention that you should set it up on Notion. What I have found is that the second brain is a mechanized or a digital way of looking at the Commonplace book. Commonplace book was a space where you could collect your ideas and have them sort of centered in one space. And there's logic to having them digitized, because you are able to cross-reference and search across multiple different ideas. And I think that's really brilliant. I think a structure like this would be really, really great, particularly if you are undertaking a massive project like a PhD, for instance, or a dissertation or something like that. So as you're going through your resources, you are building out pieces of evidence that you can eventually collaborate and cross-reference into different themes or topics. And as you can see here in my second brain, I've got topics with main cards, primary sources, secondary sources, and literature. This has been really, really helpful, but I haven't been using my second brain for my research ideas, and instead I've been using my essay ideas second brain. I'm going to call it a second brain, but it's probably just a database. And I started this when I was doing my undergrad certificate at Oxford, and I was actually preparing for my exams. The idea behind it that I was pulling in ideas for potential essay topics and creating sort of mini structured essay ideas in those essay topics and having them in a very easy format that I could look up those essay topics and revise them. Ever since I started the master's, I have been doing the same thing. So every single time I have an idea for an essay or for further research, I pull that idea into this database. Actually all of my research ideas have come out of this database. And the ones that haven't turned into research papers are still ideas that I want to explore. And I'd love to eventually turn this into a full-blown second brain platform. But I'm also conscious that something like a second brain platform, especially this one here, takes time and effort to fill in. So this I find is just a lot easier to throw in. For example, if I'm looking at a particular essay topic, I can pull in resources, I can pull in websites, I can pull in readings, cross-reference ideas, all that kind of thing into one page. But I think it would be really helpful, particularly as I start to explore a bigger piece of work like a dissertation or a PhD, that translating some of this into a second brain template or into my current second brain will be really, really helpful to connect those ideas that I know maybe haven't been connected before. And that is the whole point of the second brain. Now, another thing that I wanted to just highlight here is that oftentimes I will write down an idea in here that I will then need to translate into my Notion, because I always have this on hand. And sometimes 90% of the time, I don't like to pull out my iPad, or I'm not in front of my computer or my laptop, and Notion on my phone isn't that great. I often have ideas in here that I'll then translate into that. And that action of translating ideas from the written page into the digital database is so helpful for me to deconstruct and re-examine those ideas that I originally had. So the whole point of this is to basically say, this is a system that really works for me. This idea of a second brain and having a database of ideas that I can then refer back to when it comes down to research and researching questions. Have I fully followed the model of Tiago Forte's second brain? Absolutely not. I haven't in the slightest. But the idea of the second brain prompted me to create this database, and for that I am really grateful for those ideas. And I cannot tell you how useful this has been every single time I've sat in a lecture, I've sat in a talk, or I've had an idea randomly. Writing those ideas down and then translating them and pulling them into this database has been so helpful. And this is something I would highly recommend to any students at any stage of their academic journey, because oftentimes the struggle with providing research ideas comes from you having some ideas but not knowing which ones to pick, and this system just helps with that so much. The final thing that I want to talk about in this video is the importance of community. Now, I know I'm biased about Accepted Society, but I'm also not biased about Accepted Society because I've been a part of Accepted Society for 2-3 years now, and I've just taken over the business, and I could be perceived as biased, but honestly, having been a member of Accepted Society, having seen the importance that it provides to students who are in any phase of their academic career, any stage of their academic journey, from non-traditional students, mature students, distance students, or even just standard students who feel like they're just not connecting with their group or their program, or that they're just struggling a bit. Accepted Society has been such a foundational space for me and for so many students like that. So a lot of people ask me, what is Accepted Society? Well, Accepted Society is essentially an academic-based community. We run our community on Circle platform, which provides the space for us to have discussion boards and chat rooms and book clubs, and then we also run study sessions and writing groups. So the members of the community actually run their study sessions whenever they want to run them. It provides a place for people who just want a little bit of camaraderie when they are studying to run a writing session or study session, to run a study session virtually. It's really easy to do, and it has provided members of our community with connections that they had no idea were there, and people have connected based on where they live, what institution they attend, and also just their areas of interest. And I found that the space has been so impactful to me, especially during my 5 a.m. mornings when I am studying or focusing on research papers, to have people there who are joining me at 5 a.m. on their time zone, or joining me late in the evening on their time zone, has such a phenomenal sense of community and support and engagement. And I don't think I could have done my master's in the way that I've done it without Accepted Society. So if you have any questions about Accepted Society, or you want to give it a trial, if you sign up, you get a 7-day trial to join the community, and I can almost guarantee that you will stick around after 7 days. But please use the link in the description box below if you would like to give Accepted Society a go. So those are my tips. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm sorry for the break halfway through, and I hope that these tips will help you set yourself up for success in the new semester. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.